Shadrach and Black. How are you? Yes, I could definitely use some peace. I'm doing, I would want to say great as far as health wise is going. Chemo gonna do what it do, so you gonna have some ups and downs or whatever. Hey, RJ. Good to see you. How are you? You gonna feel some things or whatever, but when it comes down to that, I can actually say today I feel great. I'm still battling the thing of trying to keep my legs, the swelling down out of my legs, and stuff like that. But overall, like, I feel better than to be expected, I guess. Yeah, so I'm good in that way. But how has everything been going with you all? I just came on here to show some face, and I let the conversation flow like I'm on the telephone with y'all, because I really ain't come on with, like I say every single time. Whenever I come on here, I don't come on here and have nothing really that I got in mind that I want to talk about. I just let the conversation flow. That's how we do over here. And we always end up having a conversation. Peace, players, and blessings. Good to see your pretty smile. Thank you. Tenfold to you too. You know how I do it up here. Whatever you asking God for me, I ask him that he give it back to you 10 times what it is that you're asking for me. Thank you so much. I've tried to get to one of your lives for weeks. Good to hear. I've been running around crazy with family events and all of life. I'm in the thick of those busy years, baby. I was just gonna ask you, do we got a baby yet? Do we got a baby yet? I'm glad to know everything is going great. February, in February that will be my year mark coming up on, February 14th, Valentine's Day, will be my year mark. And, for those of you all who don't know, I haven't talked about, hey, Enoch. It's good to see you all tonight. I don't know if you all have been able to catch up with the videos and stuff that I be posting, but that I've been posting, but I'm gonna keep on singing it to the mountaintops. Even if somebody heard it again, it's a testimony, and I'm gonna keep on telling it. But y'all know in August my cancer markers, my tumor markers were at 1,500. Hey, life's hard. Um my tumor markers were at 1,500 in August. And with each month that went by, thank you so much for supporting me. I'll be over there watching you too. You just don't be seeing me. You had a live today too. I was over there. I think it was live either today or yesterday. My days be running together, so but anyways, just know I'll be over there supporting even when I don't say anything. Um but my cancer markers are down to 83 that I know of so far. Normal is between 0 and 36. And I'm also coming up on my CT scan that's going to tell me, hey, growing with Hudson. um my CT scan is coming up that will determine whether I have surgery to remove whatever is left of the cancer, and then I will have 3 more months of chemo after that. So for me, that's like my blessing that I can come along and share with y'all, because y'all done been through it all. Yes, growing with us. And so me focusing on this more has taken my mind off of not a lot. I'll be thinking about my garden every day, all the time, but it's not so intense like it was before, where it was like it was making me cry that I couldn't get to it or whatever. So, sometimes it's just a break that you have to take in certain things. And as I'm taking those breaks with other things, RJ, here's another one for you. I've shaved all my hair off, but I don't have cancer. I feel for you though, girl. Ah, and it's I always tell people like I'd never share my story for anybody to like feel sorry for me or anything like that. I'm totally sharing my story because this is like my diary on here. This is like me. So much stuff has happened to me in my life. This is like my thing where I come on where I can scream it to the world. Even though I don't have to scream, it's like I'm saying it to whoever is here and whoever gonna listen to me. That's my way of screaming out of what's happening to me, no longer being ashamed of it, no longer sitting in silence, feeling like nobody cares about me or any of that stuff like that, because that's the life that I've lived my whole life. A lot of stuff has happened to me in my life, and so now this is my way of like screaming it out, not for nobody to feel sorry for me, because one thing that I do know, my cancer process being used in a mighty way. I don't fully know how all, but I know it's being used, and that's for sure. Um, but one of the things that I've been going through for the past 2 years, me and my husband has been separated. And I know at one point I was so mad and angry with him. I was like, I don't see none of that. And I'm not saying I'm like in the best place in the world right now, but we ain't where we used to be. We're not no longer in a place where we just ain't dealing with each other, talking to each other, none at all. But I will be honest about it. It's like I feel like he took some steps. He took some steps, and then hey Nina, your reels were where your husband was rubbing your legs made me cry. My husband is a good man, but he wouldn't touch me for all the tea in China. Well, I still don't fully know um what was his reasonings or whatever that, but yeah, those who know that my process of separation from my husband was a year prior to me getting cancer. So him touching me or anything didn't have anything, because and to be honest, my husband would have never stopped touching me. It was me that needed the separation, because I felt like I was doing everything, um and he was just sitting back like watching me do the work. And then when it came down to it, we got into an argument, and he made it like I don't do anything in this relationship. And it's the same thing that I've been hearing all of my life. I can work really hard to do all the things that I do, and still I can't get nobody to say that I'm holding it down. So it's just like I just needed to get away from it all. So um we've been separated for a very long time, and so during that separation, hey TMB, how you doing? And so now I'm in a situation where I can't do anything. And sometimes it make me feel really crappy that I can't do anything. Thank you, Norman. Norma. Hey Joshua. I'm like, did you just say your husband wasn't he not Joshua? Absolutely, that's what I'm saying. So don't come through and think you saying like anything smart. But you be careful now, because my moderators will get you. But anyways, absolutely, that's what I'm saying. I've been without that for 2 years. That ain't, when you know that you know, and you're a grown adult, you know that it takes more than just that to keep a marriage together. trust and believe there is no issue in that department. I'll say, but you wasn't being funny. Oh, well, okay then. So we grown adults over here. I'm just saying, be careful with like how you saying it or whatever, because my moderators will they don't be playing over here, and I don't bother with them. Let them do their job. And if I feel like you're, you know, just giving you a little bit of the rules, okay? No problem. We grown adults over here. We having grown conversations. But for 2 years, like we've been separated, and we still are separated right now. I'm just telling you, with all of the stuff that's going on, and I ain't gonna go back into all of that because the videos are here. Those of you that are members and everything, they probably got a lot of the tea. Um, if you want to know, and some people need to know like where about somebody's testimony is to know like where your marriage has dipped to, because me and my husband been together for we've been together for like 27 years, but we've been married for 20 plus years. So we went from a place, there's videos of me on here punching doors and everything. So and even the day that it all happened, it's on my members only live. That's where stuff, I put a lot of stuff that where I was spazzing out or whatever. But um we things just went bad, and it seemed like when I was diagnosed with cancer, um like things got worse. And I was just like, but I always had in my mind that I wasn't gonna go and get no divorce. And I say that because um I didn't have any issues. Like a lot of people have issues where like they spouse may be cheating, he out in the world. My husband wasn't going out in the streets. He a homebody, go to work, come back home. So I didn't have that issue. Um Now we don't have some spats before. I ain't gonna lie about that right there. But who don't in their relationships? Um, just being real. None of that stuff like that. But when I tell you, when you don't have communication and all you doing is like in Josh's words, what he said, hidden. When that's all you doing and there is no communication, eventually some issues are going to come up. And if you're a person kind of like me, is like I let them pile up and pile up and pile up because I'm always trying to be Miss Nice Nice. And for years and years and years, I sat and listened to somebody um, say that was going through their own situations and everything. They kept saying it over and over again. And I know it may not have spoke to a lot of other people, but this person kept saying over and over again, nice don't get you nowhere. Especially when a person, you and point blank period, we gonna talk about like, okay, say like you got a bank account. If you just keep letting people withdraw from out of your bank account and they never put nothing in there, eventually you gonna come up with insufficient funds. Did someone ever say you look like because you are so sweet? I don't know. They probably did, honey. I don't know. But if you keep letting them withdraw from you and they ain't putting nothing back in you, eventually you're gonna come up with insufficient fund where you lose it, and then you're gonna be get out of character and all of that kind of stuff like that, which is things that I did. And then when things got so bad, I felt like he was willing to do anything to make me have an argument with him. So I actually went to a place of where like I saw that too. Hey Kajaria, I saw that too. And eventually I had to change that part of it. So I'm here to tell y'all, and if y'all got questions, I don't mind answering the questions. But let me tell you what happened. For a while he had been drinking or whatever. And I was hesitant about telling this story, but I also think like sometimes people don't want you to tell their story or tell the truth about what it is that they going through. But if there is a story that's going on in my life and I'm connected to it, I get to talk about it. Just like the other day, um I read something that somebody put up under one of my chats, and I'm not ignoring anybody. I'm just trying to stay on track. So if you say something and you want me to answer, repeat it in the chat until like I see it, and then I read it off because I'm trying to stay on point with what I'm talking about. But hey, Deborah, um, let me think of where I was. Um, if I saw that somebody put a comment up under one of my videos where I'm talking about things that happened to me when I was younger, that people didn't of course nobody's going to agree with everything that you go through in life or whatever, but I done been through a lot of situations with my mom. And one of the things was, I have a video that's on here talking about my mom slept with that lady's husband or whatever. It's going, you can go back, it's got a million something views on it, right? So, but I get a lot, got this one lady that's up under my videos, and she's telling me constantly, not just one time, I can see her over and over again, that I'm bashing my mom. And I've never came on and bashed my mom. What my goal is to possibly speak about what it is that I went through, because of what it is that she did. It cost me. It cost me because like my mom passed away, and then the lady of whose husband she was messing with came vengeful towards me. And so, and I ended up finished raising my mom's kids, which when I say finish raising them, I've always raised them. I didn't have a childhood because she had these kids or whatever. But I'm not here to like hash that up. Those stories are all here on YouTube. Everything, all the things pretty much that I done been through. So, you're telling your truth. Your mom is part, absolutely, and that's what I say. Some people won't like that you tell your story because they view it as a way of you dishonor your mother and your father, and that's not what I'm doing. Dishonoring my mother would be me bringing shame, because that's what the definition of dishonoring somebody. I'm bringing shame to her or disgrace to her or any of that stuff like that. I'm not bringing Albert Chang, are you trying to call me a rat? Try, please. Anywho. um, I'm not bring. How could if a person if okay, say if I did the same thing, I didn't bring the shame to my kid. Didn't bring the shame to me because they said something to somebody about it. I brought the shame amongst myself, especially after I done it 3 times over. So then, how am I the one like bringing shame? Me bringing shame is like, I also don't like that saying is what go on in this house stays in this house. I feel like people who say those kinds of things, and I do believe that there are some things, um I believe there is some things that probably should stay in the household. I just view that people who say those things, that use that line, is usually people that's doing things that they should not be doing, and they don't want their kids to tell it. So, um but anyways, I just wanted to say that so it's like you understand. It's like if you're connected to a story and somebody know that they doing something wrong to you, which is how I ended up coming on to YouTube. Even though I said what I was going through in life, I was going to talk about it here on YouTube. That's how I ultimately ended up coming here and talking about what was happening in my marriage, because um I was holding my phone in my hand and my husband was disrespecting me, and he thought I had the camera on. And at that moment I felt like, so you care about what they think on YouTube more than you're willing to disrespect me. And that's when I just like, I lost it. And so anyways, we done been through all of that stuff. You know, people been on here encouraging me and everything, even in times where I said, uh-uh, never, because of some of the things that has been said to me or to my kids or whatever. Even a moment I felt like he was trying to turn my kids against me or whatever. But I felt like sometimes people say things, and I'm not making no excuse for nobody. When I tell you I'm hold the foot to the fire, because I've been out here in this space where I am by myself, and I done been on here and cried to you all about being here, out here and feeling so lonely and stuff by myself at times. And I finally got to a place that even though I'm going through cancer and I'm out here where I am and everything, it's like I feel like I got stronger because I was in that separation. And because I stood in the place of, when you have your hand open and you willing to do anything, you willing to even accept trash from people, if you keep your hand open for that trash, that's all you gonna get. So sometimes you need to close your hand, which means close yourself off and go to a place, and so that you can get stronger in that place. And then when you have some respect for yourself, and knowing, and you know without a shadow of a doubt that you deserve better than what it is that you're receiving, then and only then things will get better. Even when you cry, even when it's painful, it's an uncomfortable situation to go through. So don't think you're going to be comfortable. And you can apply this situation to a whole bunch of things. If you get in this one thing, thank you very much for that. Um, when you getting this one thing and you no longer want it, you need to close your hand to that thing, until something else get better. Now, let me tell you where I am right now. Like in certain situations, I'm such a like a worker bee and try to make everything work right or whatever. As soon as I see my husband start to work towards doing or pouring into getting this thing back on track, there is something in my mind that then wants to take over and then start to, help him, right? But if I've already done the work in the beginning, because either you pay on the beginning or you pay on the end. Either way, you got to pay. So if I've put in all the work in the beginning and trying to keep everything together, it's like it's his time, and he's doing things that he want to do. He know that he can massage my legs and stuff and help keep the swelling down, and I'm thankful for him. But sometimes I still look at it and I'm almost like I'm waiting for the the bad guy to jump back out again. I'm literally in a place of where I'm like, I'm scared. Not like fearful or whatever, but once you put your trust into something, then if you put your trust into something before, then you may not, it's questionable if you try to go back into it again. So I didn't mean covering, lying, or pretending. And the Bible says, whoever conceals sin will not prosper. Um, Honor don't equal silence. Ooh. Yeah, and for me, it's like that. Now that's a lot of things that I did right there. Is like you stay silent and then you act like everything is okay. Meanwhile, it's just like playing Jenga or something. Just what you do when you stay in the silence is you stacking those blocks on top of each other, and what eventually happens is when the right block get pulled out, all of the blocks gonna come tumbling down. So it's either you deal with it then or you deal with it now. And I'm telling you, dealing with it then when it shows up is better than dealing with it now when everything done stacked up on top of each other, because you can handle it in like a calm mind, calm thinking, and you ain't trying to deal with 500 different subjects, because don't nobody care about what you talking about that happened 5 and 6 months ago. We got into it about what happened today. We don't want to hear about all of that stuff you trying to bring up now. And that's what we tend, well, not we, but that's what I tend to do, is like just stay silent and just let people pile a whole bunch of things up on me. But yeah, for, and I'm not saying like I do that now. I'm just now I've been saying for a minute that the hardest thing that I've had to deal with when it comes to communication is my husband. Everybody else is just like, don't play with it. And like, I'm going, if you say something to me and I'm not in agreement with you, I'm going to tell you about it or whatever. But my husband has been the hardest person in this process, especially when like he ain't no communicator, so he don't really say anything. So it kind of make you feel like you talking to a wall sometimes. And so, you just don't know what to, you know, what you do with that, I'll say. And let me delete this person out of here because they ain't mean us. They ain't add nothing valuable to the conversation. Um, Confessing sins and abandoning it causes us to find compassion, ideally, right? And I haven't gotten any apologies for anything or nothing like that. But sometimes, and this is not me making no excuses, I'm just talking about what it is that I'm looking at and I'm seeing right now. I do realize that people communicate in different ways, but for me, in myself, I don't usually tell people what it is that I need. I usually don't do that because if you're a person that grew up all of your life and it's like there's things that you needed, but um it was totally disregarded and you just got more and more ran over, you usually don't tell, you usually stop telling people. You ever heard of like a baby that they say if you put them in a crib and nobody takes care of their needs, the baby will stop crying and they won't really ask for anything. They just kind of in a place, I forget what they call it or whatever, but um it's like mine wasn't that severe like that as being ignored as a baby, but as I grew up in my life, there were major things that happened and I was ignored. So it's like I'm not the person, I ain't asking nobody to help me do X, Y, and Z. It's like my family knows how I move, my friends know how I move it, so it's just like they come and like you know, offer to help out with different things because it's just not me. So for me, in this situation that I am in right now, there is certain things that I need and I've spoke those things that I need and I'm not willing to compromise. I need communication. Um And I understand that people communicate in different ways, but right now at this time, it's like I'm more focused on the things that I need. And it's hard for me to stay in that place. I'm telling you, with everything, I always want to help everybody with everything that they got going on. But when you sitting in a situation like cancer, um, it can put you in a place of you being mentally, physically, every kind of drained that you can think of, so you don't have anything to give. Even in this situation that I'm in, there are times that I'm willing to give until I don't have anything to give. I don't know if there's people in the chat that know that have gone through chemo, but sometimes even talking is it's a lot of exercise. It's almost like you can be out of breath talking. Sometimes when it's close to chemo, it's like you have to keep taking these deep breaths. That's why I don't too much go live anymore, because it's like sometimes talking feel like you done ran a race the further you get away from chemo. So it's almost 2 weeks now, almost 2 weeks since I had chemo. This coming Monday I will have another round. I think I'll be on round 19 or either 20. I can't remember. I have to go back and look at the videos or whatever whenever I make a next video, letting y'all know which round that I'm on or whatever. So I don't get no paper or nothing that tell me that. But yeah, it's sometimes hard just to talk. And sometimes I put myself in situations where I just feel like sometimes people need to talk and get stuff out, and I don't have the energy to do it, and I still find myself doing it. So right now it's like I'm in a position that pay attention to yourself, Tashana. You done gave, and then listen to me calling myself Tashana. That is my name, but I like to call myself Shauna. Pay attention to yourself, Shauna, and take care of you in this season. And for some people that may be hard, but I just feel like at this time I need to reserve everything there is in me to get through this battle that I'm going through in the real life. So um yeah, I just came through to like do a live again and just show face, and because I haven't talked to y'all um in a while like this right here. But yeah, I'd love to talk to your husband if he ever up for it. Praying for y'all and for you especially. I thank you, RJ, because I often keep your testimony in the back of my mind about where you have been. And I told you that before. I told you at one point that when you came through and you talked about your testimony, and I told you, woo, I was at 95%. I'm through with it. Hey, chef. Hey. I told you I was at 95% that I'm done with, and I don't see us ever getting back together or doing anything. And I'm still telling you, we still got a lot of ways to go, because where I said to you I'm 95%, I'm only 85% right now. If I can give you, good to see you too. If I could give you a number of saying where it is that I am, I'm at 85% um that I'm sitting on. But for you to tell your testimony, and I won't tell RJ's testimony, I'll let him talk about it when he get ready to talk about it in the chat, but he put it in the chat before. And there's a video where RJ told about what he's been through or whatever. And I'm telling you, just for you to tell that story restored some of my, oh shoot, if he can come back from that right there, then for sure I can come back from this right here, because I feel like my situation wasn't that bad. It's just I didn't like things that he said to me. And I don't care what they say about no sticks and stones, but when words come from certain people, those words they hurt and they cut deep. So I don't necessarily believe in what they say, sticks and stones, um and words can never hurt me. However that saying go. What they saying, I'm telling you, if you're in a marriage with with your husband, and it don't even have to be a marriage. If you in a relationship, point blank, period, some of the words that your other half can say to you can cut deep. And so I'm not a person that I don't speak to my husband crazy, never have. It ain't a person that can say to you, "Oh, I don't see Shauna," cuz you got some disrespectful women and you got some disrespectful men. But there's not a person that been around me, hanging around me for all of my life pretty much, or all of my married life, that ain't been a whole bunch of them, and it ain't nobody can say to you that Shauna is disrespectful to her husband. Never been that kind of person. But I can tell you now, it's been, I could think of like 2 or 3 times that he got my time wrong, and just go ahead and like click, and it's just like, but, and I'm talking about throughout the marriage. Now, through this time that we've been separated, no, it been plenty of times that I done had to like get it, because I just went to a place where um I don't care anymore, and I actually use the word hate several times with him, and in the moment I never said that I actually hate him, but what I actually said is I'm going to a place where I'm very close to hating you. I definitely said that. And because that's what I felt like. But I've always taught my kids and I've always instilled it in myself. And those of you that know that if you had a mother that raised you and she was hard as hell on you, like my mama was, it's hard to function in a different light, because you usually do the things that you're taught. But because I know those things hurt me, I did things different with my kids. So we wasn't, my kids was never, I never was the one that called my kid stupid. Um, my kids wasn't allowed to call each other stupid, because I ain't have no stupid kids. So we ain't doing that. They ain't allowed to use the word hate and tell somebody that they hate them. So I never, that's not the examples and stuff that I gave my kids. But yeah, I've never been a person that I just cuss my husband out or know nothing. But I'm telling you, in these last 2 years, he have been cussed it out a couple of times. And yes, I say it cussed it, but but yeah, I'm just not a disrespectful person. And so I just had to find my place where I stand up um and be able to speak what it is that I needed to speak and get out of the confusion, cuz he is like a person that to me sometimes he reminded me of my mama at a certain point. It's like my mama would always say I'm the opposite of what it was that I am, and no matter what I did, I could never and it's like hurt that come up for me to even say it. It's like no matter what you did, you could never do anything right. You could never do anything right. So, and yes, it has been getting better, but when you try to push it away instead of deal with it and work through it, it never gets better. It's just something that sits and it just festers. And when only you start to see yourself as, go back and look at the story and find out what is the truth. When you can go back in your mind and you can find out what the truth is, because you have the truth there. Go back and look at the story. Repeat the story to yourself and know, is it true what they saying, or are they gaslighting you? And when you can do that for yourself, the things that people say to you can no longer affect you anymore, because now you paying attention to the truth instead of what somebody telling you that happened to you. You know what your story is. So Um, yeah, at a certain point, he started doing that. Is like telling me that I'm the opposite of who I am, and it started with a lot of confusion, and that started happening like 3 years ago. And so, and should I say it started 3 years ago? Maybe it was like little things that was happening here and there, but it I could never say nothing. Is like, if I didn't agree with any something that he did to the kids, if I said something to him, he made me feel like, oh, every time I'm trying to discipline these kids or something, you got to come and say something about it. And it's like, and it doesn't matter what it was that I said. My mom did me like that with my kids too. Sometimes it's just so many different. When I tell you it, I was surrounded by people that was doing stuff like that. Um, to me, my dad would give me money for me to go school shopping. My aunt would figure out a way to steal it. Like, she take me to the store, she get caught stealing instead of buying my clothes or whatever, get caught and stuff like that. And now I end up with no money. She done spent my money for my school clothes and everything. And it's just like they went on and on and on doing different things to me. Those stories are all on here. But um, they like in my older videos, my older story times. I haven't did a story time in a lot of time. Thanks for that, floating heart. Um, hey Phoenix, how are you, girl? I'm definitely not ignoring y'all tonight. But I'm just trying to get some things out. And I no, I'm not sad. I'm just talking about things that literally happened to me and how I got to them and through a lot of them. So it's a lot. It is a lot. So that's the same with me. I get judged all day. It's annoying, trust and believe. Yeah, and but now it's like for me in situations like people can say stuff to me, which is why when sometimes trolls come in here and like they say something or whatever. Um that stuff, that kind of stuff like that does not get up under my skin anymore, cuz once you start to deal with the stuff that's festering on the inside of you, then it's not so easy for people to hurt you, because through going through those things and reliving your pain that you've been through, there's actually some sort of healing in that. I'm a person that had to heal from the man that kidnapped me came to my mama's funeral, and he's married to my aunt's best friend. That story is also on here too. Exposing the ugly truth. Y'all look it up. Came to my mama's funeral, gave me a hug, and sent me down a spiral. He kidnapped me and brought me back home, and my mama whooped me. My mama whooped me. And then I go back and I don't say that about her to bash her. In my mind, going back and thinking about it now, for her, it was probably better to deal with me than to deal with this man. Um, why she didn't call the police or whatever, I don't know why. So imagine I grow up with that on the inside of me, and there's no resolve. I didn't get no police was called, nobody talked to me or no none of that. And on the inside of the house, I can't go to sleep without somebody touching on me while I'm asleep at nighttime, right inside of the house. Then you know those families what they got where somebody's touching you in the house and nobody got nothing to say, and they get to stay and hang around and participate in everything in life. They get to participate in everything in life in the family, and everybody just pretend like nothing ain't happened. So that's the kind of situations and stuff that I like grew up in. And so when I got I believe it was right before well, I had to start dealing with those all of those situations that happened to me when I was like 23, because that's when my mom passed away. But that hug sent me, I would say it sent me on a spiral, but it was the thing that sent me on my way to healing, getting healing for myself, not blaming myself for what happened to me over and over again, that continued all the way until I was the age of 15, 16 years old. Um so and there's a lot to forgive, and once I could, go through those things and, work through them mentally, talk about them and everything, then it's like there's a work that you go through when you go from being silent to where you at right now, to being able to speak out loud to the world. And it's a process getting there. It's not the easiest thing to do, but what I can say to it is it's definitely freeing to be able to talk about it. So yeah, I feel like I've been doing the work to get there, and me opening my mouth talking about some of those things. And I, growing up, I literally thought that I was the only one. Nobody in my family ever said anything, ever, out loud. Never heard anything. And soon as I began to open my mouth, I ain't talking about when I first told about it. I'm talking about as I kept telling more and more things that happened to me as a child and stuff. It's like they sat and listened, and after a while, and I felt like a foreigner. I felt like nobody believed me because they was looking at me like I was crazy. Only to find out later that all the people that I'm screaming and saying into it and looking at me as if it's not happening, that it was happening, or it happened to them also. So don't ever let nobody stop you from telling your story, because sometimes people don't want you to tell your story because they have a story just like yours, and it's sometimes it's digging up their stuff, and so they're uncomfortable with hearing what it is that you saying, because they don't want their stuff to be drudged up, even though you ain't telling anything about them. The story is about you, but your story sounds so similar to theirs. They'll say they don't want to see you crying, they don't want to do this, and they don't want to do that, but maybe they're the wrong person to be talking to, and maybe not, because I think had I stayed quiet about my stuff, none of those other people in my family would have ever began to speak up and start to free themselves. You got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere. What does he say he has issues with? What's the hold up mostly for him? Um, Nothing. If you, I think you're talking about my husband, RJ. But there is no. What's crazy is so much of this is half a spiritual battle, and I wish people took more time to learn how to understand that. I would say, um, like I just said to you, he doesn't know how to communicate, which is part of the problem. Thank you, Corey. Thank you so much. Um, he's not a communicator. Um, and so he hasn't spoken anything to me. It's just and he's not really well, and I ain't gonna say not really. The truth is the truth. Um, he hasn't been that supportive through this cancer battle that I'm going through. I don't, and everybody can't, and I'm not here and I'm not to bash him or to say anything wrong about it. I can just only tell the truth about what it is. Cancer is not something that everybody can watch you go through. My husband don't like the hospital. Nothing about it. Nothing about the hospital he doesn't like. So when it comes to like being sick and everything, I don't have no answers. The only thing I can tell you I'm speaking out of right now is what I think may be happening. All before, um when I've been here and I've been very sick and everything like that right there, he has not been a part of the process. He's never gone to chemo with me. And also too, I wouldn't even ask him to go to chemo with me. Just because I just feel like he wouldn't be, he's not a communicator. What's gonna happen when we go there is just like just gonna be looking around, and it's called almost like the hospital. You know what I'm saying? So, um, and I'm not saying that he doesn't care. There's no way in the world that we've been married for almost 25 years. It's probably been 25 years. My mind just can't do the math right now. I ain't got time. It's been 20 plus years. That's why I always say 20 plus years. Um Everybody can't uh deal with it. It's not like the easiest thing in the world. But what I do see is I can see the step up. And I don't know if y'all just heard the door close. That was actually him coming to check on me just then. So I am, hey TT, I am just embracing what is happening right now because, and two, maybe because of some of the things that I said, and I ain't taking none of the blame for it. Um, the things that I've been saying since we've been separated is like, I don't really know how to deal with that. So it's just all kinds of things. And if a person don't communicate, we can only assume what it is that we assume that's going on mentally in their head. And so, um, but at some point you have to get to a place that I need communication. I'm trying to understand you. You don't know how many different ways I done went. I think I've exhausted everything. I've went out of my way talking to other men, trying to understand any and everything about my husband, and I could never. I've been asked all kinds of questions. Well, whenever he tell you anything, have you ever bashed him, or you ever thrown what he say, what he tell you into his face? Never done that, but he has done that to me. And so it's just like, um what I can say is, what I won't do is I won't compromise. I need communication. I need something more than, he doesn't have a problem with telling me I love you. No problem at all. He say that all the time. I love you. He don't have no issue with saying that. But when I'm trying to understand some of the things that we going through, it's like he'll sit there and he'll listen to me talk. And as soon as I finish talking, he is like, okay, you finished? You said everything you need to say? All right, then. I'll talk to you later. Love you. That's what I'll get. And for me, that doesn't, it's, we grown, we passed that right there. So, yeah. Um, I was asking, what does he take issue with in y'all's marriage? Does he say he's mad or upset or here, but not really. Um, like I just said, he ain't never said anything about what I tell you though. He do have issues with is like, and this is not him saying it. It's like he doesn't want me to be around anybody else. It's like he just want me to his own self. So I'm not a person that really goes anywhere and hang in the streets or whatever. I ain't in the streets, period. Anyways, I just when I say in the streets is like you going out and doing stuff like that right there. Um but like I have some friends, couple of people that will hang out with or spend time with. Anytime any of those people like show up or whatever, he gets very angry and doesn't want me to like hang around anybody. Well, I definitely done broke that because I went to a place of where I don't care, but it's like you go through these different rituals every time that somebody shows up. It's like he's very jealous of anybody else making me smile. Even I'll even say with my family, if I'm around my family and we having a good time having fun together, it's like he finds ways to like destroy that or whatever. Not here lately, but before was all things, and it just used to irk my nerves so bad. But we can go around his family and I can have a good time with them. I definitely enjoyed myself hanging around his family and everything, but he never like respected my family like in the same way. So it's like when we go around his family, everything all good. You can hang around and you can do everything with them. But then if I wanted to go and be around my family, it was everything he hated about being there. Is just like you can feel his thoughts on the back of your neck or something whenever it would be, we would be together or whatever, and it just like he tried to make it hard for me. So I don't know what that part of it was about. um but that was a lot of our things. It's like he was just trying to keep me down and under his thumb or whatever, and it's just like no. And some of these people are just like, "Hey, I'm here talking to you all. I don't know you all or whatever, but we having a conversation. um but it was other married people that I would hang around. And though if you're a married person, or you a person in a relationship, the best person to have a conversation with about things that you're going through in your marriage when you can't speak to your and I've always told them too that if I can't talk to you about the things that's going on with me, then I'm going to take it outside of the house. I'm going to have to talk to somebody else. I said that 1,000 times over. So the only thing is I'm being true to what it is that I said, because I'm trying to have a happy life. And so I'm trying to get down to the bottom of it. I've did all of the research and talked to all my married people and even some single people about it. But like I was gonna say before, if you in a relationship or you married or whatever, talk to people who are married or in relationship. Because if you talk to people that ain't got no relationship, or they ain't married, you gonna get single people's advice, and before you know it, you'll be out there single by yourself while they done told you to leave your man or do whatever so you can be miserable along with them. So opinions on, is it a oh, we ain't talking about that. I don't care about, everybody got a choice to live however it is that they want to live. Um Period. Even God give you a choice to do whatever it is that you want to do. It's up to you. So, hey, kicking it with D, how you doing? Do you think he is Christian too? Um, does he have any relationship? Um, what I will say is, if you asked him, he probably would say like he Christian. Me, myself, I don't claim. I used to say Christian or whatever, but I don't do no um religion. I believe in relationship. That's what I believe in. And do I think he have a relationship with God? Absolutely. I do. He absolutely has a relationship with him. I know that he read his Bible and everything. So that's why I'm saying everything that I'm saying to you all right now, I'm assuming those things because there is no communication. So the only thing I can do is assume he could think totally opposite of what it is that I'm saying. I don't know. There's no communication. I can only assume like there's like the jealousy of me like hanging around other people and stuff like that. I feel like he get annoyed when other people make me laugh. Stuff like that. I don't really know what it is or why it is. But yeah, all of that stuff is like I've busted out of my shell now. Y'all done seen me a couple of times. I done got on the train and went back and forth different places, and the thing is now is before I respected you, and I did, I um I would always have a conversation about what it is that I wanted to do. But anytime that I would tell him, like, if I even wanted to go and just spend a day, like going out to lunch with with one of my friends or something like that, it would cause a whole rift or whatever. And so it's like, and I used to be respectful with like trying to communicate to him like what it is and where it is that I'm going or whatever, and it would always end up like an argument or an attitude. And then when I come back, I gotta do, if y'all understand, you gotta do these rituals and stuff when you come back to make sure like you like something done happen or whatever. It's just a lot of crazy things, and now it's just like I'm not doing any of that, none of it. I'm gonna go where I want to go, and I'm gonna be remain to be respectful of who I am and what I am. Um, but I'm not doing all of that stuff. And if you don't like what I'm gonna do, um, or where I'm going, that's your business. That's how I feel about it now. So, there is something called social perspective taking, and it's when we suspend our own logic, feeling, and objectively observe another person. You can sort of leave yourself and just observe and collect info about the other person and return to yourself, then decide what you think. Mm. Hey, Brandon, do you think he is okay? Then I read that one and told you. Um, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just curious myself, but true. Well, that's Landon. I'm telling you, I'm just being honest with you about that. So like, I don't judge any of that stuff. It's like, sometimes you like have opinions and stuff or whatever, but for me, I believe people, you allowed to do whatever choice that you is. All of us commit sins every single day. It's just select ones that we do or whatever. Um and they all, seeing is just seeing, point blank, period. So no, I don't judge anybody or bother with anybody in that situation. I believe we all have choices, just like I got the choice to click this button and come on here and go live. Everybody got choice in life to live the way that they want to live and believe what it is that they believe. But I believe in Jesus Christ. So um you know it is what it is. I'm gonna move along from that. um then what I think you're describing is definitely spiritual warfare, and what happens to us as Christians is described in Luke 11. Okay, what did Luke 11 say, RJ? And I have so been through this. Took me forever to appreciate this. Woo. But when we become Christians and stop feeling ourselves with Christ, it's like cleaning out our house. I think you said, but I think you meant to say filling ourselves with Christ. start filling ourselves with Christ. It's like cleaning out our house and the house becomes empty. In that environment, it invites wonky things into our lives because when the unclean spirit has gone out of a person, it passes through waterless places seeking rest and finding none to say, I will return to my house from which I came. And when it comes, it finds it, sweep it and put it in order. Then it goes and brings seven other spirits more evil than itself, and then enters and dwells there. And the last state of that person is worse than the first. Ooh, Lord. Well, I hope that ain't what gonna be going on there. Hey, alcoholic class. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, it's a lot of people. Yeah, I do too. At believing Jesus Christ. But there's a lot of people that go through in their marriages and everything. Um, what I will say is before because of all the things that I've been through in life prior to meeting my husband, I know I was getting a lot of things wrong because when you're a person that been through what I've been through, you could be very promiscuous. You can make a lot of bad decisions, especially when you've never had help before in your life. You make a lot of bad decisions. But one thing that I knew from a situation that I had been through that I knew I couldn't get from up under this person without Jesus helping me. I knew I couldn't get from under him because I knew that this person had put roots on me. And right after my son passed away, I just felt like this heaviness of like I was bound or tied down and couldn't move from under this person. And I remember walking down the road just trying to clear my head after I buried my son and just started saying to God, Lord, if he ain't for me, move him out of my life. Now I couldn't have came up with no prayers or nothing like that because back in those days I was more so interested in saying prayers like, Lord, if you do this for me, I do this for you. Like I was bribing God. That's what I kind of like looked at it as. Like I was bribing him. Lord, if you do this for me, I do this for you. And God don't deal with none of that stuff. He know about what you got going on in your heart, and then one day you gonna have to make good on all them promises that you tried to make and stuff like that. Hey Lashandra. So anyways, one day that prayer came into my life. And I kept saying it over and over again because all of my intentions was we gonna get back together, we gonna get back together. But then he started like telling me, I also told this story before, so I ain't gonna tell the whole thing. Y'all can go and find these stories in my old stories. I done told this story over and over again about how I went through, lost my mind and all of this here kind of stuff. But a simple prayer just like that. Not one of them things where you got to hoop and holler and all of that. And not, I don't knock any of those people. I actually enjoy seeing people be able to praise and all of that stuff right there. But plain and simple, Lord, if he ain't for me, move him out of my life. That's a prayer that I live by. And because I kept making all of the mistakes that I was making, and I know that that prayer got me through. It didn't get me through the whole root thing, but it was the beginning of me getting from up under the evil that was put on me. It was the start of it because I went through a whole situation with that right there. But um I made a vow on that day because of what had happened to me that any man that came my way, Lord, if he ain't for me, move him out of my life. And I prayed this prayer when I first laid eyes on him, when he first looked at me. Lord, if he ain't for me, move him out of my life. And I prayed that prayer and prayed that prayer. And after me praying that prayer, I ended up getting pregnant. And when I got pregnant, I said to God, I was like, didn't I tell you if he ain't for me to move him out of my life? But at the time, I'm saying this, but I want to control the narrative. So I kind of like want God to move him out of my life because I don't really think he is for me. Um, at the time. But when I go back and look at it and the way God does things, there's an order to the way that he does things. And it really ain't because I got pregnant with the baby first, made me feel like it wasn't he wasn't my husband. Um but I kept praying that prayer and kept praying that prayer, and me and him just kept getting closer and closer until that day came when we actually did get married. Now, I done been with him for 20 some years, and people do get divorced and stuff when they married, but it's like if I ain't gonna trust God with the prayer that I just prayed, what is the purpose in me keep saying this prayer and I don't believe in what it is that I asked him for? Cause see, that's kind of crazy. You sitting back and you praying and you asking God to do something. And sometimes some of us need to give God a challenge like that. That's what I call a challenge, giving God a challenge. Lord, if he ain't for me, move him out of my life. The opposite of that is he ain't going nowhere if he is yours, right? So, and that's with anything. Lord, if this job ain't for me, then don't let me get it. If it is mine, then give it to me. If God give it to you, can't nobody take it away from you, right? So a lot of people that's been married for 20 something plus years, I know people do still get divorced. But one of the things that I held on to because I asked God for this thing and I trust God in the prayers that I prayed, I know this man is my husband. So even during the times when I get mad and angry at him, I go back to that. Lord, if he ain't for me, move him out of my life. And a couple of times I done laughed with God about it and said, if he ain't for me, Lord, move him out of my life. When he get on my nerves or whatever. Oh Lord, if if this man ain't for me, move him out of my life. And we've been together for 20 some years. So do I trust God with what it is that he told me? Absolutely. What I asked him for? Absolutely, I do. Still don't mean you ain't gonna go through some things. And I will say some of the things that you go through in marriage will also build your marriage up. Keep it together, hold it together like glue. Cause if you don't never go through nothing, what they say, I like to use Betty right though. Anything worth having it all is worth working for and waiting for. Mm-hmm. So it's some things that you're gonna go through that can be very annoying, but it doesn't mean just because you're going through those things that you should um be divorced. Sometimes those are the things and the times that you need to be down on your knees and praying for your marriage, whatever that it is that you in. Don't mean that you won't be separated, because I'm telling you, I've been separated for 2 years now, and now all that's happening right now is coming back together. So I would encourage anybody that's going through what it is in your marriage. I don't know why I ended up talking about marriage tonight. Maybe it's somebody in here that needed to hear something about marriage. And one thing that I did ask, because sometimes I can just go off on a tangent and just keep on talking. But always, anything that I come on and talk to you all about, I always want God to have his way and use me to say words of encouragement to somebody, because sometimes you can come on here because it ain't all about that either. Sometimes you can come on here and I can be angry and I can be in a different place than I am human. I am human, but I'm not so human that um I can't open myself up for God to use me in any situation, and it makes me feel good to be used by him. So I don't know how I got on this conversation right here, but oh yes I do. I remember any story, anything that you're any person that you've been around and a certain situation happen while you with that person, and they make you a part of the story that is there. Don't let them make you feel any kind of way about telling your part of the story, because that story is also your story. So let it happen naturally. You have been married a long time. Sometimes the train goes off the track. It's time to get it back on track. You better say that again, TT. You better say that again. And TT, I know TT know what she talking about, because when I first came on here talking, TT was one of the people that came in and was like, oh girl, your story sound just like mine. So there's people that, and there's several people in this chat that we've had this conversation about before. OG Rated RJ definitely is one of those people that he's been through some things in like his marriage or whatever. And sometimes some of us stay so quiet and so secretive about things while everything crumbling behind the scenes, because you too shame or too scared to say that you're going through something. I'm here to tell you, if a person in a marriage and they ain't never been through nothing, they ain't no marriage. There, it ain't no marriage, because you two different people, and two different people have two different things that be going on, no matter how close to one y'all is with being. Um, I'm just telling you, there's nobody that has the perfect marriage, but and that just is what it is. I ain't gonna try to explain that away or add nothing to it or take nothing from it. It is what it is. All marriages go through some things, but sometimes you have to take a break from it, and do what it is that you need to do. um and in the process, if you're not sure what it is that you want to do, don't do anything to add on. If you're married, maintain that you're married in those times, to not add any extra confusion to whatever, because people out there be lurking around, they waiting on you to have a open place so they can make things worse than what they are. Don't allow anybody to come in and do that. Make sure you thinking with a clear mind on everything that you do. I've always maintained, whether me and him been together or not, I'm still a married woman. And if I decide that I want to go my separate ways, which I don't ever want to be back out in the dating world ever again in life. And that's what I'm saying for right now. It's my prerogative. I can change my mind later on, down the line or whatever. But I don't see myself being no 60 and 70 years old out here back on the market again. And I ain't saying nothing to that nobody that is out here trying to do it. But if you're a married person and you haven't gotten a divorce or whatever, then don't add nothing else to your tray. Clean off the tray that you have in front of you first before you add something else on top of the mess that's already there. Um, Please like and share. What did you used to love about him? Ooh. Um, ooh, RJ, I think it's rated R. No, it ain't rated R. I love like his broad shoulders. Um, I love that he loved to go fishing, and I like to go fishing. I love that. Um, let me let me think back, 'cause that's been a while. When we first got together, um, we did do a lot. Well, and why I'm saying this to you, right? Because I was friends, not friends, but like I knew his mom and I knew several other people in his family 15 years before I knew him. I had never, I was back in Vero Beach. Sometimes my kids be like, you ain't from Vero, you from Guilford. They was one and the same. But sometimes my kids be like, I lived in Vero Beach slash Guilford, and he lived here in Orlando. So I didn't know him, never had ran across him before or anything. And how we really met each other was one night I went to his sister's house, which we used to go over there and play cards and stuff like that with her. And one night, and I know they always look through the peephole or whatever. And when I went over to his sister's house this one night, I parked my car on the side of the house so they couldn't see who was out there by looking out the window, and I covered the peephole with my thumb. And when I did that, I heard chaos going on in the house. Somebody out there ringing the doorbell, but won't open the door. So of course I didn't know he was there because I never saw him there before. But he came. He actually had moved to um Vero. Had no idea that he was in there, and he when he came to the door, he snatched the door open, but I didn't think it was going to be a man that's opening the door in a house full of women that I'm used to going over there. And when he snatched the door open, I grabbed his arm, not knowing that it was going to be him, and scared my own self, scared him and everything. So it was like a mess. But it ended up being very funny, and it's like, and when he saw me that one time, I'm always laughing, I'm always smiling and everything. And then it's just like he went fishing one day and he was like trying to hug his nieces and stuff when he came from fishing. Nobody wanted to give him a hug, and I was braiding one of their hairs or whatever. And I was like, I'll give you a hug. But me, I'm in the mindset that I was in at the time. I just wanted, I was in a place, had done went to a place of where I wanted to be by myself. I didn't necessarily want to, I didn't want a man. I had done messed up so many times that I didn't want to be in no relationship. I just wanted to be by myself. So it's like, I was like, I'll give you a hug. And I gave him a hug, and then found out later that he was eyeballing your girl in the background, or whatever. And just like we would go riding and stuff like that, and we like the same music, it's all kinds of different things. So is he funny? Not really. And he ain't no guy. He not a man. He a manly man. Like, uh, you ain't gonna never see him in no position like, I had people tell me stories that, um when he found out that I had cancer or whatever, he was in a bad place. It's hard for me to see that because I've never experienced that before. I've never seen like a softer side of him. He ain't like no. He is one that he say what he want to say whenever he want to say it. He go out. I, so I really wouldn't call him like no funny person. But anyways, y'all know I'm get stuck talking for a long time. I know, and we are back on track. Okay, praise the Lord for that. All right. It's time because God is good. Like he's literally sitting in heaven saying, please make me Lord of your life. I want to do so much healing. Yes, that is true. Hey Anthony. Um but yeah, I'm guessing it's timing. Not guessing, it is time because it's happening right now. My thing is I just want to stay. I don't want to help the process. I just want to allow God to do whatever it is that he going to do without me putting my input in and trying to fix it and everything, cuz I'm always misfix it all the time. So I'm not trying to be misfix it or anything. All I feel like I need to do right now is to be open to the process. I'm open to the process. I just, I'm not willing to do any more of the work because I feel like I've done the work. I've shown who I am. I've been consistent in who I am. And so there's nothing else for me to do but to sit down somewhere and stop trying to be a busy bee and be the fixer of every single thing. Thank you, Anthony, for that floating heart. Um, Satan is out here and having us dwell, but the Bible teaches to hold every thought captive. Every thought. We are all human. I trust God. Absolutely. We destroy arguments and every lofty opinion raised against the knowledge of God and take every thought captive to obey Christ. 2 Corinthians 10. Y'all see, we got some folks that be praying over some situations and everything. And I'm just saying, and I'm not trying to make it like someplace. These the kind of conversations that we have, and ultimately every conversation that we end up in, God is always there. So if that ain't something that you don't like, then that is where we at over here. God has been good to me regardless of everything. And I will say none of my processes started out like this. I'm telling you, you can go back to when I was first diagnosed with cancer. I was angry. I was mad with God because how dare you? I've already been through all of this stuff in my life. And I got one more thing is to have cancer. I don't always start in this place. And I'm raw with everything that I start with. The last place I want to be is here, sharing with somebody because I've never been a person that like cry in front of anybody because I was taught that your tears are weak, mean you weak. And I've learned a person that been through the things I've been through, I can't be weak. That doesn't make sense. Ain't nothing out there. It's scary. I'm trying to tell you, it is scary out there in them streets. And so I can tell you the same thing where I prayed that prayer, Lord, if he ain't for me, move him out of my life. My whole family know. Anybody you come in my face with, I don't care who they is, you done let me know about somebody. Oh, I'm dating such and such, honey. I'll be the if they ain't gonna stick around for long, and I'm telling you, tops 3 months is the longest somebody can be able to hang on right now. If they ain't meant to be, it ain't gonna last. It ain't gonna last. So, and all I want to do is eliminate making all of the mistakes that you make and wasting time with people that you're not supposed to be with. They're not your person. So, let's eliminate wasting time. I remember thinking back, I dated somebody for 5 years. Um, and put all of what I put on inside of that relationship only for it to go down the drain. So I don't got time to be wasting no time. Time is very precious. God remind him of the love Tashana gave him, stir his heart, break through the walls, and lead him back to her and the marriage you have prepared for them. Amen to that. And that goes for anybody who going through in their marriage and everything. May stir it up and bring it back together. In Jesus' name, amen. Hey, Aristotle, I think I'm saying it right. I'm feeling pretty good. Thank you for asking. Um, but yeah, if does anybody have any questions that they want to ask me, y'all know they're gonna send me off into talking up a storm. I told y'all I could talk. If we get into a conversation, we get into a talk about something on here. I'm gonna talk and talk. So, um, but um, anybody that's over here and you've never been here before, this my channel is Life with Tashana, where life is like a box of chocolate. You never know what it is that you're going to get. And because it's life, It's going to be a conversation most likely about whatever is happening in life, unless somebody else comes on and has a conversation that starts off, um, the conversation of whatever it is that we having. Over here, we believe in growth at all times. So hopefully somebody got something out of here that's going to help them grow on tonight. But we believe in growing on the inside and on the outside. And growing on the outside only consists of, you ain't gotta be um no farmer or nothing, farmer in the dale or nothing like that. But if you get something from out of the fresh vegetable section or fruit section or whatever, and it got a seed in it, go out there and put it in your ground and put it in the ground and grow your own stuff. As high as groceries is these days, you should try to regrow the stuff that you buy. So then eventually you can be growing your own stuff. Trust me, growing growing on the outside helps you grow on the inside. And we used to be all talks about the stuff in the garden out there, but with me going through my cancer process right now, we are not out there. But I don't mind answering questions about somebody trying to grow on the outside. We about all of that over there. I have chickens, I have pigs, um and I have a rather large garden that I still want to expand and was trying to work on it, but right now that's not the place that God has me in. Even though I want to be out there, I want to be growing on the outside, but some of the things that happen when you go through chemo or whatever is keeping me there, and I feel like it's a time for me to rest, and I'm gonna take that time to rest. And when it's time for me to get back out there, I will be bringing y'all along with me to the garden. So, how's your garden doing in this cold? Look at TT asked about it before I even read about it. So, to be honest with you, TT, I went out there and I planted some broccoli. Probably now, I showed y'all the video where where I replenished, was starting to replenish the soil and everything. It's the last time that I've been out there, because remember, I've been telling y'all my legs feel like they each weigh like 100 pounds, and y'all know I'm dealing with the swelling. And the only way I've been able to keep some of the swelling down in my legs, even though it's not 100% down, um, anytime that I stand up, walk around for even 2 to 3 minutes or whatever, you can see the swelling starting to you can see the swelling starting to come back into my legs or whatever. So I don't do a lot of moving around like that right there. So um I try to keep my legs propped up, because to feel your legs swelling at the capacity that my legs are swelling at um is, whew, a lot, and it doesn't feel good. So um you know so I haven't been out in the garden. I My husband went out there and he picked 2 pineapples from out there. um but stuff's still out there growing. He let me know the other day that the mango trees all have are starting to bloom right now and everything. So yet and still, even though I'm not out there in the garden is still growing. So hopefully we gonna have plenty of mangoes, all different kinds, and we gonna have some broccoli. Oh yeah, and they told me to the bell pepper plants that I planted, they all came up. Possibly some tomato plants come up. We don't have no hard freeze and stuff like that. Very seldom we do. So whatever be growing out there be growing. So maybe the next thing that I'll do is I'll take the chance to walk out to the garden. Oh, and I don't have my balance is off. Like, to me, I'll be like taking 2 steps forward and 3 to the side. So I'm just like, it's time. It's just time that I just sit down and chill for a little while. So when I get there, I'm gonna get there. And when I get there, I'm gonna bring y'all right along with me when I go back into the garden again. So And just for anyone who doesn't know me, living in Christ can feel overwhelming because growth and renewal doesn't always feel comfortable. Yes, that's one of the conversations we have over here all the time. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Everything, you ain't gonna be comfortable through everything. Being comfortable, you have to think about it in terms as you being sleep. When you sleeping, you in a comfortable position, you don't move out of that place. But when God wants you to move, you're gonna get very uncomfortable so that you will switch it up and do something different. I definitely vouch for that one. Um, so it can get very uncomfortable. And I put all the scriptures out here because meditating on it always been the biggest blessing in my life. So if it's ever stings, just let it be. Just let it be. The Holy Spirit knows right where we are and where we are at and what we need when we need it. Amen to that. Hey Mercedes. Thank you for joining us. But you all, just in case you all we are also known as the high class gardeners. Now they say, now what does that mean, Miss Shauna? That just means when we go out in the garden, we don't mess around with no snakes, no bugs, no worms, and no frogs. Miss Shauna, then how you gonna garden out in the garden? You heard what I said. I grow food. I don't play around with none of that stuff. Y'all done seen it before on here. If I run into any of those things, the gardening is over for that day. I don't play. I done ran into snakes, all kind of stuff, and honey, my back is tore up from the floor, but I'll jump all kind of hurdles, getting up out of there. Don't even play with it. So, if you are interested, oh, and by the way, sometimes people can show up. You know how you call a person can be like a bugaboo. They could be they call some people snakes and stuff like that. When people show up in those forms, we don't mess with those kind of people either. But we don't necessarily throw them away. We pray for them because we also got people who ain't scared of none of those things like that in the garden, and they don't mind plucking them out over here. So and praying for them because we can't just leave them there, But yeah, if you're interested in that, well, Mercedes say my type of garden. My type of garden, honey. I don't play around with none of that. Mm-mm. Nope, nope, nope. But if you're interested in becoming a high class gardener over here with us, all you have to do is subscribe and turn on all your notification bells so you can be notified whenever we go live or whenever we post a short. And also, you can help me out by, if you feel like you like what our conversation was like, not just because, how some people just be saying, just hit the like button for the heck of it. We don't do that over here. If you feel like you like what we talked about over here in any way and you haven't hit the like button, do your girl a favor and hit that like button because it do help us out in some kind of way. I just don't know. I just be listening to other YouTubers and stuff that say it help the algorithm and all of that stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know, but they say it help. But just in case y'all they got that like button there for a reason. Y'all like what we talked about over here tonight, then y'all go ahead and hit that. Hey Jay Bush, the Spinners, the Intruders, Johnny Taylor, George Benson, Barry White, telling me this, telling me that. Say once I'm with you, you never go back. Hey, I have to hit the Barry White on you tonight because my voice, I was in here trying to sing the other night with my daughter and I was like, oh Lord, my voice. But that's all right. It's only gonna be like that just for a little while. Eventually it's gonna be right back and then I'll put it down. So yeah, at least I went on ahead and throw one out there. Jay Bush always come through and throw some songs out there. He know I'm gonna end up singing one, and singing makes me happy. Have a blessed weekend, chat, Mr. Shauna. Much love, love you too, RJ. Tell Mr. Shauna I said hello from Texas. Alrighty then. Sometimes he be on here watching. Y'all just don't know. He ain't gonna never say nothing Um, he ain't gonna never say nothing when he in here. Sometimes when he look, but he, he'll look for a little while and then he be gone. So, um, but hey, greetings to everyone in the chat. All right, you all. I love you all. I want him to step back into his marriage ASAP. Yes, sir. But I love y'all and thank y'all for listening to me talk. And hopefully was a balanced chat. Y'all helped me by listening to me. And whatever it is that I said to y'all, maybe I helped y'all too. And that way we stay balanced. Y'all have an amazing night. Love y'all.